Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth. We are on Van Helsing's story. In the last episode, we finished dealing with Jack the Ripper, and we are now going to investigate some mass murder that occurred shortly after we dealt with Jack the Ripper, apparently. So, you can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. The crime scene isn't far, and we arrive at Viscount Brandel's mansion after an hour's walk. I didn't think such a violent crime would take place so close to our own mansion. We're almost there. Viscount Brandel's estate is beyond these trees. Just as he says, we can see what appears to be the roof of a large building just past the trees before us.
Sorry, folks. No trespassing beyond this point. Which paper do you write for? We've been ordered not to release any more information to the press.
Two officers step up in front of us.
My name is Abraham Van Helsing. Captain Leonhardt requested that I aid in the investigation. Van Helsing? The human weapon? That Van Helsing? Idiot, that lady journalist this morning claimed to be Queen Victoria. And you let her waltz right through. You're way too gullible, you know. Oh, right. I'm sorry, but Captain Leonhardt has ordered that no one is to be allowed through. Uh-oh. Do you really not get it? Come on, Van Helsing. It's no use saying anything to these uptight buffoons. That's disrespecting a police officer.
As Impy and the policemen begin to argue, I see a familiar figure running towards us.
Hey now, what's this commotion? Leonhardt, good thing you're here. I'd like you to take me to that site. Oh, it's you, Van Helsing. Thank you for coming. He's for real? Seriously? Oh dear. Please, sir, I'd love to get your autograph later.
Paying no mind to the excited policemen, Van Helsing and Leonhardt greet each other briskly. Leonhardt even seems somewhat cheerful. Van Helsing's skills must be regarded quite highly.
The situation's progressed so quickly. I didn't expect this to happen. Good day, Captain. You are just as hot-headed as ever. What? Lupin! You!
Leonhardt's expression immediately changes at the sight of Lupin, who had been hiding behind the rest of us.
You're under arrest for treason, obstruction of justice, and defamation against Her Majesty and myself.
Leonhardt quickly grabs Lupin and handcuffs his hands behind his back.
Oh, Leonhardt, have you forgotten that we're under protection of the Queen herself?
The handcuffs fall to the ground in an instant.
What? How did you do that just now? Answer me! With regards to Azoth, we will be cooperating with one another to investigate these crimes. Is that all right, Leonhardt?
Leonhardt picks up his handcuffs and inspects them furiously, then nods somewhat reluctantly.
I didn't think Lupin would be tagging along. Fine. Let me show you the mansion first.
With Leonhardt's grudging agreement, Lupin and the others begin to follow him. Deli and I try to join the group.
You stay here.
What? Why?
The paper said it looked like the people had been attacked by a beast. This will be a disturbing scene. It's better if you stay here, to avoid you getting sick and in everyone's way. We won't be long, just sit tight.
All right. Huh, I don't see why you're concerned about me. 2 years ago, I buried most of my kin. One blood-soaked house isn't going to faze me. Deli.
Then there's no reason to stop you. Come with us.
Van Helsing and the others walk off, and I stand for a while waiting for them. It's been some time, and they haven't come out yet. There's probably a lot to investigate. I look around the area for a bit. Then, I find something red on the ground, near some bushes. Is this blood? I look closer. There are a lot of tracks here, as if multiple people had been walking back and forth right here. I remember something Lupin told me. Footprints can leave a lot of clues behind. That's why a good thief takes care to never ever leave footprints behind. They're different sizes, but all the same shape, probably the police officers. That means there's something over here that had gotten their attention. I'd better take a look. I follow the footprints and bloodstains to the edge of the forest. Wow. Then I push through a thicket and see it, red smeared all over a tree trunk. The word Azoth, written in what is most likely the victim's blood. The paper had said that Viscount Brandel was killed alone, and he was trying to escape. He probably died right here. I feel like I'm being watched, and look up. But no one's here. I suddenly feel nervous, and even the sound of the treetops swaying in the breeze feels eerie. I should go back at once and...
Huh? What are you doing here?
I turn around in surprise and discover Impy standing there. Lupin and the others appear as well, with Leonhardt standing at the very back. I'm sorry for walking around on my own, but I found this place while I was waiting, and...
It's fine. The yard's all over this area right now. There shouldn't be any danger. Of course.
Van Helsing steps away from the rest and stares at the word Azoth. What is it, Van Helsing?
These letters written in blood. The handwriting is different from last time. This is just an assumption, but the Azoth ringleader is likely making those doing his bidding write these words. Perhaps as proof of their loyalty, or in return for his support. I must say, that's in poor taste, and they drive their employees quite hard.
That's probably a message from Azoth to hand me over.
Try not to overthink things.
You can tell.
Yes, your thoughts are simpler than you might imagine.
That is such a sexy look.
Then, we shall continue our investigation on site. What will you lot do? There might be something left here that will provide some proof. I'll help.
Lupin, Impy, and Saint Germain all agree with Victor's intentions. I probably won't be of much use here. What should I do?
Come with me, then. If you want to keep those who are here from worrying about you, you're less likely to have trouble with me.
Aren't you going to investigate the crime scene here?
There's someone I want to call upon. I'm going to see him. What's that supposed to mean? Should I come along? You can come if you want, but the place I'm going to is the home of Sherlock Holmes. Haha! Yeah, Lupin's not gonna go.
After that, Van Helsing, Deli, and I head for Baker Street, where Holmes lives. Needless to say, Lupin didn't want to come with us after all. This is a middle-class district where rows of houses line the street. According to Leonhardt, the place where Holmes keeps his office and lodging is on this street. Deli, are you sure you didn't want to stay behind at the crime scene? Why would I want to do that? You seemed very interested in the news this morning. Don't concern yourself about it. I understood enough. There was no point in staying there any longer. Deli sounds a lot more confident than usual. Could this be because of Van Helsing's presence? Never mind that. Van Helsing, I certainly hope you've noticed.
I'm not blind, of course I noticed.
What are you two talking about? Instead of responding, Van Helsing and Deli suddenly turn down an alleyway. What's the matter? Why are we running? I ask as they grab my hands.
Turn the corner. Delacroix, do you know what to do?
Don't you try to give me orders. Still holding hands, we turn again down an even narrower alley, and hide in the shadows. I finally understand what they're doing, and I make sure to stay well hidden. Immediately after that, the tracker, who had lost sight of us, appears in the alley's mouth and runs towards us in a panic. Van Helsing and Dirili look at each other and nod. They jump out of hiding at the same moment.
Don't move. I'll have to react if you do.
Trying to follow me, were you? Very presumptuous for a mere human.
Well, you got me, I surrender.
Van Helsing and I both sigh in relief as the man raises his hands. You're from Twilight. The man standing before us is the same one who had captured me during the attempt to kidnap Finis on the train. I take a step back and prepare myself to react appropriately in case something happens. Van Helsing doesn't seem to be bothered at all, however. Why not?
Delacroix, this man is not an enemy, he's an ally.
Van Helsing lowers his gun. What are you talking about? Twilight wants to catch her, don't they? Aren't they your enemies?
This man is an exception.
Though Dirili gives Van Helsing a quizzical look, he slowly relaxes.
That was quite a sloppy attempt to tail us coming from you. My apologies. I wanted to test if you were still sharp as before, Abraham. You completely underestimated me then.
Van Helsing, who is this?
I suppose I never properly introduced myself. My name is Jimmy A. Allister. Pleased to meet your acquaintance, Cardia.
Let's see. Top official in Twilight. This calm gentleman is old friends with Van Helsing. Although he looks old, he is surprisingly strong. Is he a vampire too?
I hold a decently high position within the Twilight organization.
Then you're our enemy after all.
Ah, please, excuse my actions during our previous encounter. I had to act that way in front of Finis. Don't worry, this man is my ally. We're both betrayed by Finis, and we both share the same objective. Though the difference is that I'm after Finis myself, while Allister is after the entire organization. He leaked information regarding the orders given to Twilight and Cardia. He's the one who gave me the information about you. After that, I was unable to contact him, and I faced some difficulties. I'm sorry about that, but if you can forgive me, it was very difficult to communicate with you without him knowing.
But when we were on that train, Finis was about to capture me. Van Helsing could have been killed. There was no way you were secretly on our side back then, Allister.
The incident in the train car. I was going to help you escape later. Same with Abraham. I'd never kill him.
I can't trust you. If Lupin hadn't saved us, both Van Helsing and I would both be dead. I feel an intense, indescribable pressure, and I stare directly into Allister's face. However, Allister does not appear to be too troubled, and only strokes his beard while he responds softly.
The more I say it's true, the less you'll believe me. Then again, there's no other way to show that I'm trustworthy.
I still don't trust him, but Van Helsing is the first to back him up.
There's no need to doubt you. You were only trying to shift things our way as much as you could in that tight corner. I know what you're capable of better than anyone else. Don't you think you're giving me too much credit? You shouldn't expect so much from this old fool.
It's apparent that the two trust each other. If Van Helsing has that much faith in him, does that really make him an ally? Are you saying that you saved my life?
It's not that big a deal. Don't worry about it. I couldn't help myself from wanting to keep you safe, as you're a friend of my former student.
Your student?
Allister is a university professor, and has been guiding me in my studies.
Allister smiles and nods.
Professor is just a title. I'd like you to visit sometime if you're free. Friends of Abraham are always welcome.
So, Allister, was it? What business do you have with Van Helsing? I'm sure you didn't follow us here to make small talk. Dirili, who had been watching from the side, speaks to Alistair with an almost hostile intensity. He seems to still be on the fence regarding Alistair.
Don't glare at me like that. Of course I didn't come just to chit-chat.
He takes a small breath, then begins to speak quietly.
Now that Finis is dead, at least publicly, I'm able to move about freely. Publicly? What do you mean? Was the Finis that showed up at Beckford's lab a fake after all?
That's what I want to know as well. Is Azoth actually Finis? If that's true, then who was the person who died in Father's underground facility?
This is just a theory, but the Finis you encountered there was likely a body double or something. What? Then he's still... That's a really weird face that he's making right now. What? Then he's still... Yes, although it's hard to believe, there is a very good chance that Finis is still alive. I've even seen him with my own eyes, though he and I haven't exchanged any words. The day after he was supposedly killed, I saw him walking around the palace. I hadn't felt chills like that in a while.
How could it be?
There's no question it was Finis. Damn it. Are you telling me the boy really is immortal? It's preposterous. Calm down, Abraham. Either way, unlike before, Finis is unable to make appearances in public places. However, I have yet to grasp what exactly he's up to in the meantime. I have my own theories. He is a ghost of sorts now, wandering in search of his other half. What? What do you mean?
Van Helsing spends some time telling Alistair everything that had happened. Jack the Ripper, the word Azoth written in blood, the recent mass murder.
I see. If Finis is behind this, it seems he really has lost his mind. As far as I know, he's always been crazy.
Van Helsing grinds his teeth, fuming.
But as a result of Finis' disappearance, I was able to take back some measure of leadership over Twilight. Moving forward, you can consider Twilight as an ally, Abraham. Among all else, you seek revenge to see that justice is done. And not just me, us. Ah, that's right. Finis has been driven into a corner like never before. It's only a little farther until it's all over. Yes.
I sense a special connection between them, one that I shouldn't interfere with as I watch them shake hands. For some reason, I find this upsetting.
Now then, there's no point in getting caught up in conversation here. Your little girlfriend is glaring daggers at me.
I'm not glaring.
I'm just kidding, my lady. Good luck, Abraham. I'll let you know as soon as there is any progress.
Alistair turns and disappears into the crowd on Main Street, as if melting into the scenery.
What's with you?
Huh?
You look happy for some reason. Something on your mind?
I'm kinda conflicted, but still a little happy.
What does that mean?
Because now I know you have a friend. Van Helsing had said that I was not his friend, but he referred to Alistair as his ally and seemed peaceful when he was here.
Huh, is that all?
That upsetting feeling I'd had earlier. It was probably because I want Van Helsing to see me as a friend and comrade, just like that. For a while after that, we continued down Baker Street.
This is it.
We arrive in front of a building and a row of apartments. It doesn't look like a detective's office.
It doesn't, does it? If Leonhardt wasn't mistaken, he should be here.
Perhaps I should have asked this sooner, but is this Holmes really going to be of any use to us? I think it would be very reassuring just to have him on our side. Even Lupin runs away at the sound of his name.
That can't be helped. A thief's instincts are always to run from the law.
The door suddenly opens, revealing Holmes. Why isn't he wearing his hat?
I thought you would arrive around now. Welcome, come in.
Van Helsing, did you tell him that we would be coming here?
No, I didn't. He probably predicted that we would arrive through some logical reasoning.
We follow Sholmes into the apartment and are shown to an ordinary parlor. There is nothing here that I would have expected a detective's office to have.
This room isn't actually my office, but it's a bit of a mess with barely any room to walk. I apologize, but let's talk here. What is it you want? I'd have assumed that you've already figured out why we're here. Oh, you overestimate me. Well, let me make an educated guess.
Sholmes chuckles, then gestures to us while he's thinking aloud.
You are here today seeking some sort of information regarding the Azoth incident from last night. How's that?
You're right. How did you know?
It's elementary, my dear. I've welcomed any clients to my business for the past few years, but right now I've limited that number for my own reasons. It's been the same once I moved to London. Only a select few in Scotland Yard know of me here, and maybe Captain Leonhardt. If you've made it this far, I'm assuming that you have Scotland Yard's blessing, or that you've had contact with Leonhardt.
Sholmes continues talking as he glances through the papers spread before him at his desk.
They're all busy right now chasing after this Azoth fellow, the one behind Jack the Ripper, as well as the Brandel murders. Van Helsing and Cardia, I hear that you were involved in the recent death of Jack the Ripper.
Holmes has easily surmised how we are related to the incident with Jack as well.
The common thread shared by all these points is Azoth, that name. Then, the reason you're here must be that you seek as much information as possible and want a professional detective's help. That's the only natural conclusion. What do you think?
Sholmes shrugs. It's like he sees through everything we do. To him, we're open books. His gaze looks so omniscient that it feels a bit uncomfortable. Delhi seems particularly bothered by Sholmes, and naturally puts some distance between the two of them.
It certainly appears that you're worth requesting cooperation from. Oh, do I meet your demanding standards? Let's talk business then. I keep my work and my private life separate. My skills don't come cheap. It doesn't matter. Lupin will take full responsibility for the payment. He's not going to be happy about that.
What? Is he sure he wants to... Is he sure he wants to make promises before he checks to see if it's acceptable?
You're hiring a detective with a thief's money. I enjoy the irony. You're requesting that I solve the mystery of the Azoth incidents and find out the truth. Is that correct?
After that, Sholmes quietly listens to our story without showing any signs of surprise or shock.
I see. So everything is mostly as I had already expected. Take a look at this.
He spreads a map of the city out on the desk. There are dates and information written at a number of points on it.
Within the past few months, the number of violent crimes within London has increased at a rapid pace. I was personally interested in that. I've been following them for quite a while, and discovered a strange commonality.
A commonality?
What is it? This.
Sholmes takes a separate set of papers from a drawer in his desk. It is a list of names and armed forces ranks. Several of the names at the top are crossed out. Viscount Brandel's name is one of the ones with a line through it.
This is a list of those who received commendations after the Vampire War. Exactly. I have a client in the government for whom I solved an interesting case. He provided me with this list.
He gently traces his finger over the names with lines through them.
As I am sure you understand by now, the killer has been murdering his targets in an order according to this list.
From the perspective of a vampire, such individuals deserve death. Dirili quietly says this as he leans against the wall. Van Helsing, your name is on here too.
Indeed. After the current top person on the list is killed, you'll become the next target. You came to see me at a good time. The problem is, how did the killer get his hands on this top-secret list? The killer is within the government, or Azoth has some connection to it. It's one of these two scenarios. Then, I am going to assume that Azoth is within the government. Azoth has been an accomplice to a number of crimes. After Jack's story, I'm inclined to think he has a certain charisma. This charisma draws criminals to him, and he has the intelligence to control them. One could even call him the Napoleon of crime. Either way, I'm unfortunately still in the middle of my own investigations. I have yet to learn the truth about Azoth. Azoth is Finis.
Van Helsing states this quietly but firmly, leaving no room for doubt. Holmes seems mildly surprised.
Finis? Are you referring to the technology advisor to the British military, Finis? You believe he is Azoth? Yes. On what do you base this theory? During the events with Jack, Azoth left a message containing information that only Finis would know.
Information only Finis would know. It was most likely...
You'll need to continue being a puppet, like you were during the war. You don't want to lose someone precious again, do you?
Those words spoken by Azoth. Puppet. Lose someone precious. I wonder what it all means.
I don't intend to tell you exactly what he was referring to. I see. That's fine. I'll keep your story in mind. I have just one word of advice for you.
Holmes pulls himself upright and looks towards us.
The one currently calling himself Azoth seems to have the tendency of working 2 nights in a row, which means that tonight, the survivor at the top of the list is going to be his target. That is useful information. Good thing we've hired you. You're welcome, but be careful. This opponent will not be easy to take down. Viscount Brandel was killed by a vampire. I have no doubt whatsoever about that.
I'm the only one who reacts in surprise. Van Helsing and Dirili both seem unfazed by Holmes' words. I would assume so. One of our hated enemies is dead, and the terrible state of that mansion. I could never forget that brutality. It was the style of someone I knew very well, knows best. The killer is most likely a pure-blooded vampire like myself. We return to Brandel Estate and rejoin Lupin and the others. We relay Holmes' information to Leonhardt as well. By the time we return to St. Germain's mansion, the sun has already set. We gather in the lounge and discuss how to proceed from this point,
and inform Lupin that he has to pay Holmes.
Although Dirili is with us, he doesn't say anything, choosing to simply listen to us talk.
Several yard officers have already been stationed at the home where the next attack has been predicted to occur.
Van Helsing's voice carries quite well in the quiet room.
I'm going to join them. I intend to capture the vampire who's been committing these crimes. But this is my fight. There's no need for any of you to force yourselves to join me. I will handle this on my own.
His expression is tight and stern. If I let him go through with this, he's going to be somewhere far away where I'll be unable to reach him. I'm coming too. Azoth is after me. I'm part of this as well. I won't get in your way, so please let me come with you. I stare at Van Helsing. My words come from my heart. As if synchronizing with my attitude, Lupin speaks up from the side.
I'll obviously come along too. Either way, the only remaining clue to Isaac's whereabouts is this Azoth fellow. Exactly. If we let him get past us, we'll be completely stuck. I'll try to help out as much as I can, so Van Helsing won't have any problem when it comes to catching that guy. I'm sorry that my motives aren't as honorable as yours, but I am curious. I won't get in your way, so allow me to come. I'll come too, of course. If the vampire war is the root of all this, it concerns me as well. So we're all going together after all. Fine, as long as you don't get in my way.
Amidst all this, Victor timidly raises his hand.
However, there is one thing that's bothering me. What is it? If the target's as well guarded as you say, don't you think the vampires will simply not attack tonight?
That's not possible. Dirili suddenly speaks up. There's no point in increasing the number of people present. It will only fuel that man's anger.
What are you talking about? Do you know something about the murderer?
Yes, I can tell from the scene we saw today. That was the aftermath of a fight involving my father's highest subject. He was referred to as Nointote. I don't know how to say that. I have no clue. A vampiric survivor of the vampire war, he harbors a deep hatred for humans. He has been assassinating members of nobility involved in the investigation of the war. Does this guy have a literary background? Like the rest of the characters? I don't know. I'll have to look him up later. He was feared by humans and respected by our race as one of the great vampires. He was also my master in the art of battle. Van Helsing, I'm sure you recognize this name, don't you?
Yes.
If you intend to capture this man, I will come with you. I will attempt to convince him as the vampire leader. I cannot stand by and watch a subject of mine fall into darkness.
I advise against that.
Why? What right do you have to stop me?
As you saw from the disastrous condition of the crime scene, he destroys his targets with an intense hatred. If he were to find out that you have been acting alongside humans, he will likely try to kill you too, despite your status. Will you be able to fight one of your own kind? Could you fight to the death against your own master?
That's...
If you don't go into battle with the intent to kill him, you will die. I don't need anyone slowing me down. You should stay put here.
Dirili says nothing more to Van Helsing. Actually, he's probably shocked into silence. That night, at midnight... Okay, and this is where we're going to have to... I should have stopped at the last sentence. Oh well. We're going to have to stop this video here, and we will pick up in the next episode. So I hope to see you there, or perhaps in some of my other videos. I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.